Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Javid Basharat up against Mateus Mendonca this weekend. Javid, you've been absolutely smashing it. Great to see your progress in the UFC ever since the Contender series, wasn't it? You've been smashing it. What's the secret to your success so far?
Just plain hard work. There's not much to it, self-belief and hard work, and that's it really.
2023, you said it's going to be your year. You're coming to take what's yours. Have you mapped out a plan?
No, just nothing too detailed, but I know what I want. I want to still remain undefeated and get bigger fights. And by that, what I meant was take what's mine is take what's mine. Like as in anything that gets offered to me, just take it.
You're facing a guy who's also undefeated, but what do you make of him and his competition? Have you had a deep dig into his background? He's a former Contender series guy as well.
No, so this fight it intrigued me because it's an undefeated guy. You always want to be the guy that takes the O off the other guy. I know that all my opponents want to do that with me because I'm undefeated also, and it's going to be a great fight. I know he's from a great camp in shoot box with Charles Oliveira, so I know he's going to bring it. He's a good fighter, but there's levels to this game, and I'm going to show that.
Where do you see yourself beating him?
Everywhere. I don't see him beating me in any department because not to knock on his skills really, but it's more about my skills. I train here in Vegas, and the best fighters in the world are here, and I know how I do against them. So unless this guy is secretly the best in the world, which he could be, you know what I mean? He's gonna have a hard night.
You're coming off of a couple of decisions, but before that, you were getting finish after finish after finish. Is that just a case of the UFC is just another level for you, or do you see yourself finding your rhythm and getting back to putting people away early?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of both. Here in the UFC, I've realized there's nobody I haven't hurt. Like both guys, I had them almost out of there. Trevin in the first round, and then even on the buzzer, I had him hit him with a back kick. Gravely also with that front kick to the head, and there was an uppercut early on as well. They've all been on the edge of getting finished, but they're experienced guys. Those two people don't understand the two guys I fought. They were experienced guys that are hard to finish.
What about that win on the Contender series? Was that extra sweet for you, given he called you a terrorist or something before the? I mean, that was ridiculous. Did that putting him in his place and submitting him, was that added sweetness for you, or is that just another face, another opponent?
Yeah, of course, it was definitely sweeter, but against it's also another face, another opponent. You can't take a lot of these things too personally. If he says something else, my mentality is I take it personal from the get. Like this Brazilian, he never said anything to me. You know what I mean? He never said anything about me, not that I've heard of, but I'm taking it personal as if he said all these nasty things to me because he's signed to fight me at the end of the day.
Do you see yourself as already the best in the world?
On my day, I can be the best in the world, but I feel like there's a little bit more work to be done. By the end of this year, this is also what I meant about take what's mine. Because it's not just about me beating other people; it's about my own progression. And at the end of 2023, I'll be the best in the world. I'll feel like I'll be the best in the world. Because I'm there. I just need a couple more fights. Bit more experience, and I'm learning, man. I didn't know, like, I didn't really get good training until I came out to Vegas. Now that I've come to Vegas, it's a whole nother level out here, and I'm learning every single day. That's why you see me different from fight to fight. I'm showing new elements of my game. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, how are you gonna deal with a experienced guy like Trevin? He's done it all. He's lost. He's won. He's had big knockouts against big opposition, better opposition." And then Gravely, the Division 1 wrestler. You're from England. What do you know about wrestling? I wrestled him in there. So, and these things would not have been possible had I not come out to Vegas. I'll be simple. I'll be honest. It's that simple.
Seen you've been training with people like Dewey Cooper and getting rounds in with people like Manel Cape. Like, can you talk us through, who's been helping to sharpen you up and what that's been like?
Yeah, so just my training partners at Xtreme Couture, and then my training partners at Dewey Cooper. He has his own gym as well, BK MMA, and So my main sparring partner has been Twilight Timmy. They call him Twilight. Timmy Kwamba. He's a very good fighter, up and comer. You're definitely going to see him in the UFC in the next few months. And just Manel Cap, my brother Farid, Amir Albazi, Dan Ige. He's also fighting on the card. Just there's so many names. This is the fight capital of the world. I recently saw something. It's like if you want to be an actor, you go to Hollywood. If you want to be a fighter, you go to Vegas, and everybody's here.
Quality. And did you see the news that Sterling has torn a bicep? So now O'Malley's saying that he should fight Cejudo. How much are you keeping an eye on the top of the division? And are you happy with that just as a 135er if that's what takes place?
Because that doesn't really affect me that much, that end of the bracket, because they're top three. Man, the more I look into these things, it's so political. It's unbelievable, who knows? Like by the time I get to that level, TJ might be like, "Oh, I want back," and because he's a big name or whatever, they're gonna give him a straight title shot, So right now, my focus is not on those guys, my focus is on the skill set, on their skill set. But how their fights play out, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Not right now.
Are you ready to play that political game when the time comes, or even from now on? Like, it's not just what you do in the octagon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But there has to be a platform. There has to be the right dance partner. All of these things. I'm doing my part. I'm taking all the hard fights. For some reason, I don't know why I'm still like floating a little bit under the radar compared to the work I've been putting in. I've had tough competition. I've not said no to the competition. Guys that even like I see some media outlets writing, he's having there's no easy fights with Javid. You know what I mean? He's just going straight for the tough guys. But yeah, but still somehow I'm flying under the radar. I'm not on everybody's top prospect list. I wasn't rookie of the year type of thing. Like I didn't expect to be number one, but mention my name. Like I should be on every single list out there. Every single list I should be on it because nobody's fought my level of competition. And this is not to knock all the other prospects. There's some terrific prospects, and there were people on that list where I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. I see why they're on that list, but I should also be on that list.
Who's the best fighter in the division? It's not always the guy with the number next to the name. It's not always the guy with the belt, but who's the best at the moment for you?
It's Sterling. Sterling is definitely the best right now. He's the champion. He's the champion for a reason. People don't like the way he's been winning, but he's been getting it done. You know what I mean? And let's not forget, he's been fighting for a long time also, It takes a couple like fights for you to get to really feel yourself, He's had a lot of fights. He's been in the UFC for a long time. He's felt defeat, he's come back and won again, like these things, they matter at the end of the day. And right now I think it's his time. But this division is stacked, I don't know how long he's going to keep up for. But right now, I would say he's the best in the division.
I feel like we don't have so many fighters left in there from the older generation. I feel like it's more or less, it's a new generation of fighters coming through now with you among them. The only kind of old school legend is Dominic Cruz, really. Is he somebody you want to fight before he retires, or is there anyone in that top 15 you have to, before it's all said and done, you have to meet them one day in the octagon?
I would have loved to fight Jose Aldo before it's done, because he was always a terrific fighter, and I don't know, I always had that name in my head, when I first started off fighting. But he's out. Dominic Cruz, I would absolutely love to fight him. He's a fantastic fighter. He's a fantastic champion. He kind of changed the game a little bit, with his style. But yeah, I'll get all of these guys. It's about timing. It's about timing. If I can get those fights, why not? I would love for those fights to happen. As you can see, my level of competition outside the UFC wasn't the best, but that wasn't up to me. Now that it's up to me, I'm taking on whatever fight I get. Look, even this Brazilian kid, the reason I keep calling him Brazilians because I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, so I don't want to butcher that. Even him, like, he's undefeated. There's no blueprint to beating him, So that's exciting for me. I want to test myself. Like, I want to be in a position where I don't care who they put in front of me, I should be able to beat them. Sorry, my finger's annoying.
You're a great striker. Sean O'Malley, has he impressed you? Is that potentially a blockbuster on the cards in a year's time or 2 years' time?
Absolutely. If he doesn't go all Hollywood on me, and I keep doing my own thing, keep winning fights, absolutely. I think that's going to be a terrific fight. He's a fantastic striker. I actually picked him to beat Peter Yan, even though he didn't win that fight. I was telling everybody before the fight, I was like, it's a bad fight for Peter Yan stylistically, because I know what he's capable of striking wise. Real recognizes real, and he's a very good striker. But that fight will be a very exciting fight. But I need to get my. He was like number 15, and he jumped the ladder to number 2. So you never know. Maybe I'll jump the ladder too. But I just hope he doesn't go all Hollywood on us. After one loss or a victory. You know how these guys be. They're in and they're out.
We're going to wrap up with a quick fire, if that's all right with you, about some of your UFC colleagues. So, who is the hardest hitter in the UFC?
Franz Ngannou.
Correct. Who's got the best hand?
The best what?
Best hands.
A boxer? It's a tough one. There's a few good. I'm a big boxing fan, so I'm very harsh with my picks. There's not that many people that impress me too much with their boxing, if I'm honest with you, because everybody knows how to give it. But what about their defense and footwork and stuff like that? So I would say Dustin Poirier has good boxing. He has good boxing, but even then, I'm not that impressed with his boxing. He's a great MMA boxer, but his hands in general are not. So I'd say Dustin Poirier. I would say, yeah.
Who's the funniest?
Oh, the funniest. There was one guy. Fuck, I forgot. Funniest. This is a good question. There was one guy though. I remember going, man. This guy's hilarious. Man. So this is when I'm on the spot. I'm not the guy, When you put me on the spot, I don't know. All my answers go out the window. But I'd say Bilal Muhammad's pretty funny, but I wouldn't say he's the funniest. Shit. I don't know about that one. I'll say Bilal Muhammad for now.
Who's the most annoying?
Wait, who do you think is the funniest?
Derek Lewis is pretty funny, man. Sometimes,
Yeah, he is funny. He is funny, but there was somebody I can't remember. I was like, man, this guy's hilarious. Just the way he talks, the way he is. Damn, I forgot. Mike Perry, that guy was funny. He's funny as hell. Because sometimes on my YouTube feed, these like videos come up like funny compilations, and Mike Perry was very funny. I remember some of his stuff, like when he came out to that to Halo. You know what I mean? And he was just singing it. He goes, "It's not even my song." Or when he was dancing when what's his name, Alex Oliveira's entrance music, and he was just dancing. That was hilarious too. So yeah, would you say the most annoying? The most annoying would be UFC or MMA in general?
UFC.
I'd say the character on. So I know Aljamain personally, and he's a nice guy, but his character is very annoying when I watch him on TV. Henry Cejudo's another guy. I've met him once before, and he's a lovely guy, but his character, like, he's not like. That's not how he is in real life. But that cringe factor, that's very annoying too. So I'd say those two. That's why I want to see that fight, because that press conference and trash talk gonna be so annoying.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Who's the best looking?
Me. I don't know. That's a pass. That's not a thing. If there's anybody, it's me.
Who's got the coolest tattoos?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that sort of stuff.
You can pass anything you like. Who's the best wrestler?
This best wrestler. Islam Makhachev is very good, but pure wrestling, that Bo Nickel, he's looking good, man. I've seen some of his stuff. Obviously in MMA, it's early on in his career, but he's a bit of a monster. He's a very good wrestler.
Who would you most like to go for dinner with?
Currently in the UFC, nobody. Habib would be one. but he's not in the UFC right now. So, but yeah, not really. Nobody in particular. This is another thing. Before I came to Vegas, there would be a handful of lists. There would be a list so big. But now that I'm in Vegas, I see all these guys anyways. All my like childhood heroes, all my favorite fighters. You know, like today I was in the PI. It's crazy. I was in the sauna and Nick Diaz just walks in, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like it's just crazy. It's just how it is, you know. So that's why now I'm over that. There's not anybody on my list like that, you know.
Nick Diaz is in the PI. Is he in shape now? Like, what was it? His I can't remember who it was. Was it Melendez or Shields who was saying he's in much better shape now, and he said he's going to take a fight, right?
Well, that's what I'm hearing, but I haven't seen him train like that, you know, too much. But I've seen him around in the PI, doing some like recovery stuff, and obviously must be getting back in shape and stuff, you know.
Who would you most like by your side in a street fight?
Francis Ngannou. You know that one hitter quitter.
It's a sensible choice. Who is the most interesting female fighter?
Pass. I don't really pay attention to that too much. Most interesting, as in fighting style or just personality?
Both. Either
To be
or.
honest, fighting style, this Wei Lee, because I've seen her again. I've seen her in the PI, and she's very good. She can fight, man. So credit to her. So maybe that one. But in
Who
terms
is
of
the
interest, personality, I don't know their personalities like that. You know,
who is the biggest character in the UFC?
biggest character right now, I'd say it'd be Adesanya. You know, Israel Adesanya. Yeah, I think he's the biggest character right now, and he's a very good fighter. That's a yeah. I think Israel Adesanya right now.
Who's got the highest fight IQ?
Highest fight IQ. Just UFC, right? The highest fight IQ. Leonardo's got a pretty high fight IQ, I must say. You know, because even though I think Kamaru Usman is better, but the reason he pulled that win out the bag was because of his fight IQ.
That's a cool answer. Last question. Dream fight, past or present, any weight class?
Dream fight, past or present, any weight class. Jose Aldo, I would say. Um, yeah, Jose Aldo or prime Dominic Cruz. You know, like when he was just beating everybody. But like right now, the shape I'm in right now versus prime Dominic Cruz. Let me see if new his new old school type style, you know what I mean, would still work on this new age, you know. I'd be interested to see because I'm as new age as it gets. You know, I can mix it up, I can do it all, you know, I can fight at range, fight close distance, I can kick, wrestle, and he was kind of ahead of his time. But I would like to see if that would still translate to nowadays, you know.
It's a really interesting answer. Well, he's still at 7. He's still, you know, it might not be the same Dominic Cruz, but he's still up there, right? You might meet him.
Yeah.
Nice one. Absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it and hope to chat to you again in the future.
All right, thank you, my friend.